Welcome to the lab. My name's Corey, and in this video we're going to talk about being productive when things go wrong. This video is a little bit unexpected for me. About a week and a half ago, I was in the middle of working on a project with a few airbrushes, and the adapter that I got for the airbrushes didn't quite fit right. I didn't know at the time, but it only went up like 2 threads on the airbrushes that I have. And while I was using them, every now and then I would accidentally knock it with just enough pressure that it would rip right off, and the hose would just start spraying air, and obviously the airbrush was disconnected. And I was really worried about destroying the airbrushes. So I placed an order for a couple of new fittings, and I thought, okay, they'll be here soon. I've got other things to work on. I've got house chores, I've got other things, family time and stuff that I needed to do. So I took care of that, and I still didn't get an update. So, the thing didn't ship out, and I was expecting it to be here at the beginning of this week. So in the meantime, I've been working on terrain for about 1.5 years now, but I haven't really delved too much into mini making yet. And as I've been collecting minis here and there, and especially right now when I'm finally taking my dive into Warhammer because everybody's convinced me to do so, I've now got a backlog of minis, and the building process isn't anything that has ever really captivated me. I much more enjoy using my creativity on painting and crafting and building. Kit bashing is something that I've found that I like. I've done a couple dioramas where I've had to build an object, the centerpiece, or at least tear it apart and put it together in a way that I prefer more. But just taking minis and cleaning them off, each arm, each shoe, each little ear that they have any kind of mold line on, make it nice and crisp, and then glue it all together in the way that is dictated by the book, and then, especially if it's a group of skeletons, repeating that process 10, 20 times, it's a little monotonous. And while I listen to audiobooks pretty much all the time when I'm working on anything, including at my actual job, I'll listen to books, it's still not something that really gets my gears going or really gets me motivated. So I figured I've got some time. This fitting should be coming in soon. I'm going to start working on some of these extra minis, and I really dove into that. Cursed City has come out, and it's been out for a while now, and I only had about 10-15 of the models put together, basically the heroes and a few of the villains, just the first couple of them. So I was like, I need to tackle this. This is a game I've been wanting to play. I actually need to get this ready so that it's playable. Paint can come later. I just want to play the game. You've heard me talk about Frostgrave if you've ever watched any of my previous videos, and I had a whole warband that I wanted to use for that game, and I had all these minis that I need to put together there that are resin minis. So I said, screw it, let's get it done. The more that I started doing, I was realizing I was filling up these shelves, which I originally intended for the terrain that I was making to go on. And so I was running out of space. I only got a small office here, it's not that big, and so I needed to figure out a way to take my minis and store them that wasn't going to cost a fortune, would be also preferable for transport. And that's when I was thinking about what I've seen other people do, and I saw if you've seen Duncan Rhodes' video, you'll know what I'm talking about here, the really useful boxes and magnetizing my minis. And so I ordered stuff for that, and that came in within a couple days. Then I got the notification, as of like 3-4 days ago, that the fitting for the airbrush that I've been waiting for the whole time wasn't going to arrive until Monday, the 7th, which is tomorrow for me, which is the day before my video is due. So I said, nope, that project's going on hold. I need to do something else. And I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough time to do anything spectacular, and then I thought, well, for the past week, I've been slowly, here and there when I've had time, building this army of miniatures. And so I leaned into that, and I tackled as much of my backlog as I could, including magnetizing every single one. And I'm honestly pretty proud of this. I got a lot done. It was actually a really good learning experience because I've become a lot faster at noticing where things need to be clipped and what fits together well and how to clean faster. So all in all, I'm really glad that I was able to tackle that. And while I do have a few more boxes of stuff. My the start of the things for my Soulblight Gravelord army. Everything else, all of Curse City, all of my Frostgrave minis, all of the things that I've made for just like random NPCs and practice paint jobs and stuff, they're all done. Finally, they're all built, they're all magnetized, and they're all have storage that I can put in the basement even if I need to, and they're ready for transport. Isn't that awesome? This is just fantastic. I'm going to show you real quick how I did this. I'm going to put a link in the description for Duncan Rhodes' video. You should definitely check it out. It was the one that I followed. It's the one that I've seen other people do, and it works fantastically. Just make sure you use neodymium magnets. Get some strong ones so that you can, you know, not worry about them. By the way, this is all of Curse City. This is the 4-liter. Yes, this is the 4-liter really useful box. All of Curse City perfectly fits into one of these. Highly recommend. It's going to be real easy to just toss this on top of the board game box and just carry them together and have everything ready and there for when I want to play. So here we go. Not going to be much super interesting in this little area, but I figured I'd cover how I clean and clip my minis as I go through this anyways. Those are just a pair of wire cutters. I've actually just recently ordered a new pair of nice Tamiya cutters to get some nice sharp edges when I'm cutting through things. But even those that were super worn, clip things out easy. Sure, it'll leave some chunks left, but I mean, you're going through the cleaning process anyway, so it doesn't hurt too much. Here you can see I left the cardboard in so I could slip out the instructions for these. That way, because I don't actually have anything for Underworlds, I can keep the cards safe and still in a package until I can actually play that game as well. What I do here is I clip out all the pieces that are in each step, and then I lay them out across my board, and then I pick them up one at a time as I need them. Got some sanding sponges to really sand down, smooth the edges of things, and, you know, typical sharp X-Acto blade to slide along the very tiny edges to get all the mold lines out. Then use some Tamiya Extra Thin. I apply it to both pieces just to get that plastic melting a little bit so they'll fuse together. And then I line it up. Get it on there nice and tight. Smoosh it here and there so that the seams disappear. And then just to make sure that it's extra seamless and it's actually stuck, I'll apply another thin bit to the edge so that it'll get absorbed in. And then here's the key for this. Put hot glue on the bottom, not super glue, hot glue. Super glue only has the one flat side. If you do the hot glue, it's not hot enough to actually ruin your magnets, and that allows it to stay flush. If you're using the magnet on the magnetic sheet with parchment in between, you put hot glue down, the magnet stays, and you can see that the magnet touches the sheet, which is the strongest contact. So it's not going to slide anywhere. And then you just do a batch of them. Dab hot glue, put it down on the magnet. Fill in some hot glue, put it down on the magnet. And then if you ever have one of the magnets slip out of that hot glue, you then could put super glue inside of that, because then you'll have contact not only on the bottom of the magnet but around the edges as well, and it really won't move. And so here we are. Everything here is what I was able to build in the last basically week, maybe a couple days. This section of stuff here, starting with this small group of painted things, and back here, this is what I had already built. Everything else here is all stuff that I put together in the last week and a half, and all of it is what I then took and magnetized. None of it was magnetized beforehand. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with this whole storage system, how it's able to stack. I could put this in a corner of my office right now if I needed to. It's real easy to just, you flip the handles down, these come up, reach in, reach out. I toss them in the back of my car. I'm not gonna worry about them shaking all over the place unless for some reason I roll my car. The only way these get taken off is if I were to take this box with all them sitting there and like chuck it against the wall. Then of course they're probably going to come off the bottom. But for slow movement, picking it up, moving it like this, walking, it's not going to move too much. If you're using a strong magnet and you're able to get them right down there flush with the actual magnetic sheet, it's perfect. What I really want to have you take away from this is, even if you're in the middle of something that you're really enjoying and it goes sideways or you're forced to take a break, at least from that specific project, there's usually something that you can do, and while it may not sound like fun to begin with or feel like fun, it's very much something that when it's finished, if it's a task that needs to be done, that's been looming over you, just getting it off your plate feels really satisfying and just relieving. And I actually am looking forward to, while I was dreading the building process beforehand, I'm actually looking forward to building the rest of this stuff, just to have it done, just to be able to pick it up and look at the creation. If you have any useful storage techniques that you'd like to share with us, please leave it in a comment below. If you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And to see more stuff and the project that I was talking about actually come to fruition, subscribe so that you can catch it when it comes out. And until next time, experiment with your hobby.